Well, folks, here is my eggplant with ground hamburger and cheese and tomato sauce. It's a pretty simple recipe. I use a 10-inch pan. So to start, I get about a 10 or 11-inch eggplant and I just slice them up. You know, nice slices. Could be an 1/8 inch or so if you can just cut the bottom on half of it and just start cutting them in eighths. So put down your first layer in the pan. You know, I start with about 3. 3 is fine. And you're just going to put a little sauce on them and just do a little distribution. And then you're going to add your first bit of ground hamburger. I made this with ground hamburger and some onion and some spices. So lay down the first layer of meat. As you can see, the meat has just even distribution. Don't worry that it's not completely covered, because there's a technique at the end that I'm going to show you that puts this all together. So now you're going to add some cheese. You know, I got my little grinder there. This is it's called New York Cheddar Intense. It's very intense. It's one of my favorite cheeses. So there you go. It's all cheese on top. And don't worry about if it's clumpy or not, or you didn't miss an area, because it's not really going to matter. So now we're going to add more of your jar spaghetti sauce. You can pick any of your favorites. You know, this is a tomato basil, which is pretty good, that I like from Wegmans. And after that, you're going to just put another layer on. You can see I use 4 this time. I stair-step them, just enough to cover, the whole pan. Trying to get even distribution. And once again, putting down the sauce at this level. And you can move it around with a fork and make sure it's all even. You can tuck it like down in the corners, or do your best to cover up the eggplant. So now you can see it, even distribution. I'm starting to put in half pieces. I cut some of the eggplant in half, and you can see I'm making like a little bridge. I'm tucking them down in the side. This is a better view here. Just take little half pieces and just tuck them in down by the sides there. I love doing it this way. It really holds it together. And then we're going to do another layer of meat. You don't have to use all the meat. I think I used about like 2/3 of a pound, or maybe a half a pound. So now just put a little more cheese on top of the ground hamburger and get that evenly across the top there. And once again, a little more sauce, covering that around. And I can't wait to show you the end. I have a little trick at the end that I like to show you. Okay, now I put another 4 eggplants across the top, and 2 top and bottom, so you can see it's pretty nicely sealed. And then another round of meat, and just sprinkle it across, kind of even distribution. You don't really have to push it out to the corners yet. And there you go. I've mixed it, integrated it with the sauce to look like almost like a nice spaghetti meat sauce. And there's one more round of cheese from my grinder, my New York Intense Sharp cheese that I like. And then I'm going to show you a little trick now. Here's the trick. I take some saran wrap, just enough to cover the whole pan. And we're going to begin to give this thing just a little pressure. We're going to start tucking the corners. So you can see my hand there. Just a nice pressure down. I'm not saying push it down until it squishes out. Just nice pressure where you can just feel it all get nice and compacted. And they're right in the center, just a nice press, getting it all together. And then just slowly work it around with your fingertips. Just start tucking in the corner and just work your way around the pan there. I like this because it just seals it down to the side pieces. And a lot of times when you make lasagna, you'll get a lot of the watery corners sometimes, and all the moisture will come to the top. This will help not give so many juices up around the corners of this. So there it is. It's completely tucked down. And once you think it's all tucked and compacted, all you have to do is pull up one of the corners. Pull it up, take the whole thing off, and you can see how tight this thing is. It's nicely compressed, and it's ready to go in the oven. So at this point, it's like 350 for 45 minutes. And you can go in a little bit more to get a little more brown on the cheese, but let it sit for 15 to 20 minutes. It's going to be hot, and you want to make it cuttable. So there it is, my eggplant parmesan and hamburger. Enjoy.